Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to the Service Dog channel. Here are my top 10 mistakes made by new service dog handlers. These are a countdown, with number 10 having the least negative impact to the service dog community, and number 1 having the greatest negative impact. It's only my opinion, and if you disagree with my top 10, tell me what you would add, or what order you would put these in. Mistake number 10. Not having enough income to properly care for your dog. When your income is too low to properly care for your dog, you're hurting both yourself and the dog. If being able to afford only the basics necessary for life, which is food and water, if that is your current financial situation, and you have no money to spare on top of that, you're putting yourself and your dog in a very precarious and potentially heartbreaking situation. I'm talking about the expenses for a full-grown, maybe 50 to 80 pound working dog. You've got to remember that not only do you need a good quality brand of dog food each month, like $100 to $200, not the cheap stuff, but you also have veterinary expenses like preventative shots for diseases, $40 to $100 a year, flea and tick prevention, heartworm preventative, and the unexpected expenses for illnesses or injuries, and the medications, imaging, and treatments required for those conditions. One of my dogs gets a shot for heartworm prevention, and that's $77 every 6 months. Her flea and tick prevention is $23 a month. My other dog gets a 3-in-1 pill for heartworm, flea, and tick prevention, and that's $33 a month. Altogether, these things average about $33 to $36 a month. I recommend that either you have health insurance on your dog or save back a monthly budget for healthcare expenses. The cost of health insurance can be anywhere from $75 to $200 a month for your dog, depending on the plan. My experience has been that the total monthly cost of having a service dog is a minimum of $200 a month, but probably closer to $300 or $400. You don't want to start asking people for money to take care of your dog because they might start asking you why you got one in the first place if you can't afford it. But you also don't want your dog to suffer because you can't afford preventative treatment or veterinary care. Mistake number 9 is not accounting for how much longer it will take to go places with a service dog. When you take a dog with you 24/7, it definitely takes longer to do everything. It takes time to load up your dog and get him back out of the car. You also have to dress the dog if he wears a vest, put his leash on, and grab his supplies to bring with you. If it's raining, you're standing in the rain, reaching into the car and putting a raincoat on your dog because who wants to be around all that nasty wet dog smell? If it's hot, you need to either put some paw protection on your dog or get a wagon out of your car and put him in it to get him across the hot asphalt without burning his paws. Touch the ground. If you can't comfortably leave your hand on it for 10 seconds, you shouldn't be walking your dog on it. All this takes time. Every time I went anywhere with my family, there was a big difference in the amount of time it took me to get from the car to the store versus how quickly the rest of my family got there because I was putting on my dog's vest and leash while they were already gone. If you go with the same people all the time, they can end up getting annoyed and impatient with how long it takes you. If you have an appointment for a certain time, make sure you leave early enough to account for the extra time it takes because of your service dog. You don't want people to think that service dog handlers can't be anywhere on time and they are a disorganized mess. Mistake number 8, not being prepared for your outing, like for weather conditions or not having supplies like food, water, and poop bags. I used to keep a spare vest in my car because there were times I didn't bring one with me because I wasn't planning to get out of the car, but my plans changed while I was out. When you go anywhere, it's best to have a bag or backpack already packed with the supplies you need. You'd use it for special gear for your dog, like a vest, harness, or leash if you use them, a collapsible water bowl, which doesn't take up much space, but you'll always be able to keep your dog hydrated, a bottle of water, dog food in case you're out all day so you won't have to share your food with the dog because this will teach them to beg for food. And of course, poop bags, because you should always clean up after your dog, no matter how inconvenient it is. When people see a service dog go potty and the owner fails to pick it up, it gives us a bad reputation as a community. Even blind people know how to clean up after their guide dogs, so the only excuse for not cleaning it up would be if you literally can't because the dog has the runs, in which case you should take her home immediately. Also, you should bring a copy of the ADA's Service Dog FAQs or those little business cards you can buy on Amazon that explain the 2 questions businesses can ask. There have been times when they've saved me from being denied access. Mistake number 7 is not keeping up to date or informed on service dog news, court cases, and changes to the ADA. Many times you can tell who the fake service dog handlers are because they don't know the law or the rights and expectations of service dog handlers. Knowing the law allows you to advocate for yourself and your dog while challenging discrimination in public. Since service dogs have been legally recognized for less than 35 years as of 2024, things change. Laws and guidelines are being fine-tuned. You've got to stay up to date with these issues, and you can do that by subscribing to this channel. Hey, can you blame me for a shameless plug here? I cover service dog news, court rulings, and laws, so staying up to date can be helped by subscribing to my channel. Have you ever heard the phrase, ignorance of the law is no excuse? Mistake number 6, giving your dog's real name when people ask what his name is. Start using a fake name when people ask your dog's name. There are several reasons for this. Service dogs are considered medical equipment and should be treated with the same respect and privacy as other medical devices. Sharing a dog's name can be seen as an invasion of privacy and can pose a safety risk because it can make the dog more vulnerable to being targeted or distracted. Service dogs have a special job to do, and sharing their names can blur the lines between work time and playtime. Knowing a dog's name can be a distraction for the dog because it can make it more difficult to focus on their task when somebody is calling the dog's name. It can also set a precedent for handlers to do the same, leading to more distractions and disruptions. Ultimately, it's important to respect the boundaries and avoid giving people your dog's name. If you're used to using the dog's name to get his attention preceding every command, try making a clicking sound with your mouth instead of using his name, like sit. Mistake number 5, approaching other dogs in a store. Approaching another service dog team can be a distraction for both dogs, depending on the level of training each team has accomplished. This can interfere with the dog's ability to perform its duties and potentially cause stress or anxiety for the dogs and handlers. Approaching another service dog team without their consent can be seen as an invasion of privacy and create a tense or confrontational situation, especially if the other handler is not comfortable with being approached. It can lead to misunderstandings or assumptions. It seems like there are more fake service dogs in public than real ones, so seeing another team in public can bring on negative feelings and even flashbacks of previous encounters that resulted in dogs being attacked. Ultimately, it's important to respect the boundaries of other service dog teams and avoid approaching them. This will help to create a more safe and positive environment for all service dog teams. Mistake number 4, letting people talk to or pet your service dog. Allowing people to pet a service dog can set a precedent in other people's minds to do the same with every service dog, leading to more distractions, disruptions, and possible catastrophes. Petting or speaking to a service dog can distract them from their task, potentially compromising their ability to assist their handler. Unwanted attention can stress or overwhelm a dog, affecting their performance and well-being. Not only this, but allowing people to pet a service dog can create safety hazards, such as tripping or bumping into people or stuff. It can also be seen as disrespectful to the handler who relies on their dog for assistance. If you let people do it to your dog, they'll think it's acceptable to do it to all service dogs. Mistake number 3, taking a dog out in public before it's ready. Newly trained service dogs are going to experience new situations almost every time they start going out. Some dogs may become overly reactive and bark at people, other dogs, or their environment. If your dog struggles to maintain focus on task or command, especially in distracting environments, they're not ready. If your dog shows signs of fear, such as trembling, hiding, or avoiding certain situations or people, or consistently disobeys basic commands or refuses to work in public settings, they're not ready. If your dog shows excessive excitement or becomes overwhelmed or anxious in crowded or noisy environments, you need to take them back home and focus on more training. Your dog's behavior reflects on the service dog community at large. Mistake number 2, not pottying a dog before you enter a place. Always offer your dog the opportunity to potty before entering a public facility. I understand that there may be a rare incident if your dog has an upset tummy, but other than that, your dog should never end up having an accident indoors. I can honestly say that in my 6 years of traveling with my service dog, not one time did she have an accident indoors. If this happens, people are going to think either you have a fake service dog or you're a bad reflection on the service dog community. Like I said, there can be exceptional circumstances, but do everything within your power to prevent this from happening. Potty training is a basic requirement for any dog, regardless of its role or purpose. It's a sign of respect for others. If your dog does have an accident, you can be asked to leave and should do so after cleaning up the mess. And the number one mistake that new service dog handlers make is not being prepared for public confrontations. This mistake has the most long-lasting and far-reaching negative impact on the service dog community as a whole. Know your rights. Thoroughly understand the laws and regulations regarding service dogs. This knowledge will empower you to respond confidently and effectively. Practice assertive yet polite communication to express your rights calmly and firmly in the face of denials or confrontations. Use a friend or family member to role play with you. I recommend that if you fail to give a good response in public, don't go out again until you can come up with a good response for the next time it happens. Rehearse it in your mind repeatedly until it comes naturally. The service dog community can sometimes be toxic because of strong polar opposite opinions on things, but they can also be a good resource for handling difficult situations. If your state allows recording of persons in public without their knowledge, record the incident, but don't make it obvious you're recording. Putting a phone or camera in somebody's face or telling them you're recording them will inevitably put them on the offense and raise the tension. You can get an app for your phone that will secretly activate audio or video recording with 2 presses of a button. Practice with it. There were periods of time when I would record every time I was going to walk into the front doors of a restaurant just in case something happened and the other person made false accusations against me or denied what they said or did. If you believe your rights have been violated, file an ADA complaint. There's a video on my channel that walks you through the process. Be prepared to educate people who may have misconceptions or biases about service dogs, but be able to do it in a positive manner. Strive to remain calm and composed even in challenging situations. Your demeanor can significantly impact the outcome of a confrontation. If you encounter a denial or confrontation, be polite but persistent in asserting your rights and seeking a resolution. Don't give up. Ignoring public access issues or giving up can reinforce discriminatory attitudes and practices towards disabled people and their service dogs. Failure to address public access issues can erode the rights of service dog handlers. What would you add to this list, or what order would you put these in? Like, share, and subscribe.